All right. What's up, sports fans? Welcome to G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room Wednesday, July 6, 2022. Got quite a bit to talk about. Had a big trade today in the NFL. Of course, you still have the NBA free agency drama going on with KD and all that. So I think that's going to go on for a while. But we're joined again tonight by the sports judge, Jonathan Mathis. How you doing tonight, man?
Hey, what's up, Gonzo? It's great to be back on this show, as always. It's always a pleasure to come on. I'm glad to be a part of this show. Like I said before, you do a great job with this show. So let's get right to it, man. Like you said, there's a lot to talk about in the sports world. We got so much going on. We got NBA free agency. Of course, we got the NFL having a big trade today. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. To me, the Cleveland Browns have to be one of the worst organizations in all of sports.
Yeah.
They just got fleeced by the Carolina Panthers.
Yes, I would agree with you.
Carolina, if people don't know, the Carolina Panthers got Baker Mayfield for less than what they had to give up to get Sam Darnold.
They got fleeced.
No matter how you look at Baker,
right?
I think everybody can agree he's better than Sam Darnold.
Yes, I definitely agree with you there that he is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. He's even though he's dealt with health issues last season, to me, he's more of a reliable quarterback. He's more consistent. I think, he ran into a roadblock because of injuries. I think injuries kind of derailed his season. I think now that he gets a change of scenery, now that he's in a new environment with a new team, he gets a chance to revitalize his career. Not only does he get a chance to revitalize his career, but he gets a chance to show us who he is. This is a make or break year for him. It's now or never. Baker Mayfield can make it happen now. I think this is a better situation for him than Seattle. You was hearing rumors about him possibly landing in Seattle. They're in a rebuild. I think you want to go to a place like Carolina where you're not in a brutal division against marquee quarterbacks. You got Matthew Stafford. You got the Cardinals. You got other teams over there that have great quarterback play. So you're better, where you are, which is Carolina. I like it. I like the move. Let's see what Baker Mayfield can do. Let's see if he can stay healthy. Let's see if he can stay focused. I like his chances in the division. You're going up against quarterbacks like Jameson Winston, Marcus Mariota, and Kyle Trask. So you definitely have a chance to stand out in that division. The NFC, we're talking about the NFC South. You definitely have a chance to stand out, make a name for yourself. You know, I like it, but Baker Mayfield is a guy that's content with throwing 20 passes per game. He's content with, throwing the football. And now you have a strong running game behind you. That's if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. He's always had a pretty solid game around him, a solid run game around him. He had that in Cleveland. He had a pretty good offensive line. He had all the weapons, at his disposal. It's just that, again, injuries, hurt him. And then, of course, he had his accuracy issues. He had trouble throwing the football consistently. Let's see what happens now that he's in a new place. Now that he gets a chance to turn things around. And now, he has a fresh start.
Yeah, and for all Baker's struggles, people forget all the good he done in Cleveland too. I mean, think about it. How many games had the Cleveland Browns won before Baker got there? He got them to winning games. Yes, they didn't get as far as they wanted to get, but he got them winning games, got them in the playoffs.
Right.
But to me, Cleveland, I think they kind of done him wrong, especially when you consider the fact that how many different offensive coordinators and head coaches has he had in his 4 years there?
Right. So having to adjust to, a new scheme each time and, adapt to changes. Yes, that can affect your play as well on the football field.
Because this was going to be his first time coming back to the same coach and coordinator and everything. And then, of course, he had to have surgery on his shoulder. Because I was a big Baker Mayfield fan coming out of college because I liked his underdog story, 2-time walk-on, got the Heisman Trophy, turned himself into the #1 draft pick, but that he hasn't played at that level in the NFL yet,
right?
And I don't know if he can because, like you said, accuracy has been one of his problems, and you didn't see that in college.
Yeah, you didn't
see
that.
Pretty accurate in college, but I don't know, his accuracy has struggled in the NFL. But for the Panthers, I think this is a steal because you're getting a guy that if he reaches some of his potential could be a good starting quarterback for you. And if he don't work out, all it's going to cost you is $5 million.
Right.
And either a 5th round or a 4th round pick. So, I mean, like I said, they got him for less than what they gave up to get Darnold. Because they got a 6th round pick, a 2nd round pick, and a 4th round pick, or they gave up when they got Sam Darnold.
Yeah. And, to me, man, I like Baker Mayfield because I like his competitive fire. I like the energy that he brings to the field. He's a very emotional guy. He wears it on his sleeves. I like that about him. I like his fiery demeanor. I think that can be contagious, in a locker room, and I think he has the potential of being a great leader, and I think people really like being around Baker Mayfield. I don't think that's the question. I think the question was his accuracy and his consistency. And if he can put things together this season and focus on his game and stay healthy, good things can happen for this Carolina Panthers team.
Honestly, I think Cleveland made a mistake. If I was Cleveland, I know you ruined your relationship with Baker by the way you handled the Deshaun Watson stuff. But I would have went and I'd have talked to Baker and tried to get him to at least play this season if you think you're not going to have Watson. And for one thing, I guess Cleveland their best chance to win. And I'd have went to Baker and selling it to him like, hey, play this season. You ball out. Your stock's going to be even higher to go to whatever team you want to go to. We'll make a deal with them that you'll trade them after this season or whatever. I was kind of surprised that they were so content at going to Jacoby Brissett as their backup. So it kind of makes you wonder if there was some stuff off the field or behind the scenes that was going on between the Browns front office and Baker last season, maybe, because for them to make that strong of a move at Watson, not knowing whether he's going to be suspended or not, and then just being so content that Baker wasn't their backup plan that Jacoby Brissett was. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I think Baker's comments made earlier in the year, or was it last year? It was sometime that he made comments. I don't know if you remember, he appeared on someone's podcast and he basically took shots at the team. You know, low key took shots at the organization. Uh, that's when I knew right then and there that his relationship with the Cleveland Browns was very fragile, that it was a fractured relationship, and it was one that was beyond repair. So that's how I knew right then and there that that the Cleveland Browns and you know uh, Baker Mayfield had already kind of you know uh, disconnected. There was a disconnect there, and I think he wanted to be traded. I think he was very disgruntled with his situation in Cleveland. I think he was disappointed in the way the team handled things. He wasn't too happy about that. He was furious about that, and he just didn't like the way management handled things and how things were operating in the front office. So he wanted a change. He wanted out of Cleveland. He got his wish. Now they're moving on. I'm a bit surprised they didn't hang on to him, though, like you said, because Cleveland had the leverage, right? This was a guy that was still under contract.
Yeah.
They didn't have to trade him. They wasn't forced to trade him. They decided that it would probably be it'll probably be best for the team to move on. You got to remember, organizations do what's in the best interest for that organization. So by moving him, now he moves on. It's no longer, it doesn't feel toxic anymore now that he's away from the organization. And I just think Cleveland didn't want the headache anymore. They were ready to move on. But again, I thought they would have rode it out at least another year, right? And start him at the quarterback position, because look, we don't know. It's up in the air with Deshaun Watson. I mean, we really don't know his status. We don't know what the NFL plans on doing or how they're going to come down, and if they're going to levy any type of suspension or punishment. We still don't know, so we really have no answers to that. So I thought Cleveland would have, made him the starting quarterback. Apparently, we saw today that that's not the case, that they were ready to move on and have done so.
I think by Cleveland making this move, I think Cleveland knows how long Deshaun Watson's going to be out. I think they have a pretty good feel for how long he's going to be out, or they've already been notified and just it hasn't been made public yet.
Right.
Because it don't make no sense if you don't know if Watson's going to be out a year or not. It don't make sense to make this trade right now. And because if you hold on to Baker, some teams might have injuries, and you might be able to get more for Baker later on in the season.
Right.
So it makes me wonder if they at least know that Watson's going to get to play sometime this season.
Right.
I think that they might have found that out, and that's why they went ahead and made this move now instead of waiting.
And obviously, this team is banking on Deshaun Watson. They hired their own investigators to, do their due diligence on Deshaun Watson. They obviously see something in him. A lot of people don't think this is the best move for the team. A lot of people wouldn't agree with it because they think that he's now, a bad individual. Like he's been classified as someone who is like, a rapist or someone that has done something very, very bad that's very disrespectful to women. So a lot of people will always have a different outlook on him. They won't view him the same anymore, And so this kind of looks bad for Cleveland in a sense. Now they're guilty by association because, they're turning to Deshaun Watson to be their starting quarterback. Somebody who has a bevy of civil lawsuits pending against him. I mean, it's not good. It's been an ugly situation. We've seen what it's been like in recent weeks. It's chaos. It's just not good at all, and this kind of stuff creates a distraction, so this is what Cleveland wants. This is how Cleveland is going about things, and they apparently are, in the Deshaun Watson era.
Yeah, and this stuff with Watson, it sucks because nobody's ever going to know the truth of what happened.
Right.
And
Right.
so, and then that's one bad thing about for all the great stuff that you can do with the internet and social media. There's also a bad side to it. That's one of the bad sides to it is once you're seen guilty in the social media eyes, it don't matter what happens anywhere else. There's always going to be people that believe that you done it. And like you said, you're not going to get looked at the same, even though no charges have been brought against them yet. We're waiting to see if the NFL find anything, but there's still people out there that are always going to believe that he done whatever they believe, even without knowing if it's the proof or not. But once it's out there, it's out there. In this day and age, I mean, it don't even have to go to through the court of law. You get found guilty on the internet quick.
Exactly. And think about it. The NFL attracts a lot of women. There's a lot of female viewers. A lot of women who love football and they follow the NFL. And it's the most watched sport among females. So the NFL is kind of in a way not handling this properly. That that can make a lot of people angry, and you could lose a large percentage of your fan base.
Oh yeah, they need to handle this, and they can't handle this like they did the Ray Rice stuff either.
They need to handle it shiftfully.
You make a decision, and then
right.
something else comes out, and then you have to change it.
Right, because this is a serious matter. It's not something that you can ignore. It's not something that you can just sweep under the rug and say, okay, we can forget about this now. This is in the past. No, it's not about that, because you got to think about the victims that's involved. You got to think about not only the victims that's involved, but people who have been victimized by sexual assault. There's a lot of people that take this stuff seriously, and they're very outraged about it. So the NFL has to do a better job in handling these situations, and they have to take some type of action. But again, the NFL has been called out in recent years publicly for their inaction, their indecisions, and their inconsistencies, and we've seen it year after year after year, and a lot of it has to do with the guy who is in charge of the league, and that's Roger Goodell.
What kind of suspension do you think Watson's going to get?
Oh, it's really, really hard. I think I can see him, if not a full season, because that's harsh. And I mean, right now these are allegations, right? And he's innocent until proven guilty, right? And we weren't there, Chris. Me and you weren't there, so we don't really know what took place, right? All it is hearsay, right? All it is him being guilty by public opinion, really.
Yep.
But you can't please everyone, and if you suspend them, there's gonna be people that's not gonna be happy campers. If you don't suspend them, there's gonna be people that's gonna be outraged and raising hell because he didn't get suspended. But to answer your question, I can see him getting suspended half a season.
I think maybe I was thinking
that's fair, right? In fairness, 6
I said games. At the beginning of the year, I was saying 4 to 6 games,
right?
And then everybody was saying a year to 2, 3 years, and I'm like, okay, if he done anything, he hasn't been proved 2 grand juries wouldn't indict him. So he has been proven guilty in criminal charges.
Right.
Now you have the civil suits, and he's settled like 20 of them out of court. So there's like 2 or 3 of them left. But yeah, he might have violated the NFL's moral policy or whatever they call it. I can't think of that word, but their policy, and that's why he'll get suspended. But
the conduct,
I can understand that he'll get suspended because he violated that policy. But to me, to get a year and you haven't been proven guilty of any criminal charges, I think a year or more is just too much.
But what does this mean? Does this mean he goes on the exempt list? What happens? You know, what message will the NFL send to Deshaun Watson? And that still remains to be seen because we don't know.
Yeah. If they give him, I think there's going to be a big outrage if they give him a year or more, but there's going to be a big outrage if they only give him 4 games too. So it's going to be
regardless.
NFL's in a tough spot.
Right. And it seems like they've been in a tough spot for years with all that has happened in the league, you know, from, you know, the racial discrimination to the, you know, the domestic violence incidents to this one, you know.
I mean, they've had guys that played in the league that probably murdered somebody.
For all we know, right. And I want to hope that's not the case, but you never know.
I mean, just so it's a tough situation. But before we talk some NBA, do you think Baker will be the week 1 starter for the Panthers?
Yes, I think you throw him out there. I think there's a possibility. I don't know. I think you could also break him into the offense. You might start the first week with Sam Darnold, kind of fill things out first, see how he is. But I doubt that he's going to.
This could be a good thing for Sam Darnold. Maybe them bringing in and having a competition, maybe it'll make him step up.
This may push him to work extra hard. And
if I'm Matt Rule, I tell both him and Baker, it's an open competition because competition brings out the best.
Right. And both will be competing for the starting job. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think Baker's better, so I think Baker will win the starting job. But I think if they look at it as a competition, you're going to get the most out of both of them.
Right. You're going to see a more productive Sam Darnold. But, you know, I watched a lot of Sam Darnold at USC. And even though the talent is there, this guy tend to be reckless, you know, and that's how he was at USC. He's very
reckless. He has arm talent, but he don't have it all mental wise yet.
Mental wise, right? He has the mechanics, like you said, but mentally he doesn't have it.
I think he's just a little bit slow at processing everything because there's so much a quarterback. People don't realize it's not just you're not just back there. They got the center snaps the ball. And you look around and throw the ball. No, everybody has to be in their right positions. And as a quarterback, you got to get everybody there.
Right.
So and then you got to process: is this guy open? Where's the defense going?
Right.
I just don't think his eyes have gotten that good yet.
Right.
That's the difference between being a good quarterback and a guy like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and those guys. Them guys can process everything that's going on the field in like a second and a half.
And it's mostly decision making with him.
Yep.
You know, and his recklessness. That's the huge issue for him. You know, but decision making. Not throwing into double coverage, not throwing into tight windows. You know, eliminate the number of dangerous passes that you throw. You know, and that's something that we see with Sam Darnold. That's something we saw a lot at USC. So it's not surprised to see that happening in the NFL as well.
And that's going to be the same thing with Baker too, because Baker will get in a bad habit of always wanting to roll to his right.
Right.
Even when the pocket isn't breaking down, he has to get where he'll stay in there and make the throws that he can make. But his accuracy, his accuracy is going to have to get better.
And Sam Darnold, back to Sam Darnold real quick. He also looks scared sometimes under pressure. I noticed that
he said he was seeing a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. So when the pocket is collapsing, he has a tendency to make more mistakes with the football.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never forget that night. ESPN aired it when he was mic'd up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, why would you do him like that for? He's already having a terrible night, and you just have to let the world know that he's seeing ghosts. That's why, but that's why players don't like wearing mics a lot because them TV companies will do that to them sometimes.
Yep.
Make you look dumb.
The misfortunes of USC quarterbacks in prior history.
Yep. Well, and guys from Alabama have been kind of the same too. There ain't been a whole lot of their quarterbacks don't do good in the NFL.
Right.
And if you look some like Aaron Rodgers didn't go to a big time college.
Right. That's
Tom Brady did. He went to Michigan. Peyton Manning went to Tennessee. I mean, you see some of the guys that didn't go to big time colleges that can come in and play quarterback.
Right. Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Another one.
Yep. Miami of Ohio. Well, that's the same conference as the college here in Muncie, Ball State.
Dan Marino,
That's in the
one of
MAC.
my favorites coming out of Pitt.
Yep. So I mean, they don't always come from your top programs. A lot of them top programs they have the offense, the better offensive line and defensive lines, and that's
right.
That's what wins in college football.
And
if your offensive line holds up, you're good, and if your defensive line can get to the quarterback,
right. And they have college. You got to remember too. They have college stars and campus legends who can't translate to the NFL. They can't adapt to the pro style. They can't adapt to, a league where there's full of grown men and a league that's filled with, physicality and so much pressure and guys coming at you and sometimes guys that were able to do it at the college level, they just can't, do that at the NFL level.
No, and most of the guys that come off those best teams like Alabama and your teams are always there at the top.
Right.
Most of them that do good in the NFL are their linemen. I mean, or their linemen. It's usually not the skilled positions.
Right. Right. It's usually not the skilled positions. It's usually the like you said, offensive linemen, or even linebackers and defensive ends.
Defensive linemen, but
cornerbacks. I mean, look at Marlon Humphrey, right? He was doing good for a while over in Baltimore. And he's an Alabama. He was an Alabama product.
It just seems like their running backs and their quarterbacks for some reason don't pan out on a high percentage.
Right.
But they're, like you said, their defensive players and their offensive line do.
Right. Like, I mean, Troy Polamalu, he was another big name out of USC.
Yep.
And he, he was one of the best safeties to ever do it.
I remember watching that I remember watching that USC team with Reggie Bush and Leinart and all them, man. That
was a fun time. That was a fun time for Southern California football.
Oh yeah, I remember watching.
You got to think too. That's all we had back then as far as football because we didn't have a pro team at the time.
No, you didn't. Now you have two.
Right.
I still don't understand why they done that and put two there.
It's Hollywood, man. It's this is the mecca of sports. It's a big media market out here. So the more teams, the merrier. The more you have to talk about, the more that people will follow. And here's the thing too.
You think that the crowds will start picking up for the Chargers now that they're having a better season?
I was just about to go there. If they start winning games, yes. Because look, not all of our fans are like that, but we hear it a lot. And we get the reputation for being fair weather fans. I know you've heard this countless times as well. Not all of our fans here are fair weather fans, but we do have a lot of fans here who will jump on the bandwagon once the team starts winning. And see, that's the thing about LA, man, in Southern California, in this sports market. People out here, they love a winner. They love stars. Why you think all our teams are loaded with so much star power? Because the fans show up. It puts butts in seats.
Yep.
These players that the Rams have, that the Lakers have, that the Dodgers have, they are ticket sellers.
Yep.
They drive in, the fans.
And see,
They entice this fan base.
I think the Chargers numbers will go up if they start winning, because that's what happened with the Rams too.
Well, the Chargers, man, they moved here for all the wrong reasons, and a lot of it was corporate greed, right?
Yep.
It was also the fact that they weren't happy with their stadium situation in San Diego. But they forgot one thing. You alienated an entire fan base.
Yep. Well, same thing with St. Louis moving to Los Angeles. It was all over a stadium as well.
Right. So
there's a big football fan base in St. Louis.
Right. So they alienated both of those franchises, honestly, alienated their fan bases to come here because of money, greed, and because they know it's Hollywood. They know that people are going to pay attention, especially if they put a winning product on the field. Why you think the Rams went all in? Why you think the Chargers have done what they've done in recent years? And then I heard in the news that Dean Spanos is getting sued by his sister. So, I mean, Dean Spanos, though, he doesn't understand that that whole entire city in San Diego, mind you, turned against the Chargers. From my understanding, I have a buddy that lives in San Diego. He's actually a podcaster and a journalist as well. And he will tell you from experience that those fans out there now are Raiders fans. I kid you not. Charger fans have become Raider fans.
Yeah, that don't surprise me.
But I will say this, though, man. Those fans got robbed. San Diego, by the way, is a very underrated Southern California city. It's beautiful out there. It doesn't get the love that it deserves. And a lot of that, a lot of that is because everyone talks about LA. Everyone talks about San Francisco, but they never talk about San Diego. And it's just so absolutely gorgeous and beautiful out there. I would actually live out there. I would buy a home out there, actually, to be honest with you.
I think the NFL needs to put a team back in St. Louis. If they expand, I'd put another team back in St. Louis, because, man, the XFL was selling 60,000 seats in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. They miss football over there. They definitely miss it. But, I think St. Louis is more of a baseball town. I mean, that's Cardinals Nation.
Oh, yeah. They're a big baseball town as well.
They're a big baseball town. And before the Rams got there, the Cardinals were all they had. So a lot of those fans, they were really standing, with the Cardinals and cheering them on, rooting for them. And, you go back to the Ozzie Smith days, and you go back to the days where they've always been a rich franchise. So
yeah, they've been
people there, they really love the Cardinals.
Been a thorn in my red side for years.
Oh yeah,
I'd always get lucky.
Yeah, for you, because you're a Reds fan. Yeah, yep.
See, I always got lucky because my son's a big St. Louis Cardinals fan.
Okay, okay, I remember you sharing that. Yeah.
And me and him, every time him and Dad would go to a Reds versus Cardinals game, me and Dad would get lucky, and the Reds would always win. That might be the only game they win in that series. They might lose the next two games of the series, but every time us three went to the game together, the Cardinals would always get beat. My son would be so mad. And then, like, the next day, the Cardinals would beat the Reds like 10-0 the next day when we didn't go. But yeah, every time we went, the Reds would win. But we had some good seats. And man, going to baseball games were fun.
You might remember when the Dodgers would always play the Cardinals in the playoffs, and we would always lose every year to them. And it used to be so frustrating as a Dodger fan. You're sitting there like, oh, this again. Like, we thought we had you this year, and then no, once again, the Cardinals break our hearts, you know.
And they were, and the Cardinals really wouldn't have that, like, well, they had Pujols, but after that, and it wasn't like they had a bunch of big superstars on their team.
Right.
But they just had a great group of guys that were good at what they did, what they were asked to do.
Right. And they'll get hot at the right time.
Yep. And then they always had good pitching.
Right.
That's what's killing them this year. They only 2 of their starters are doing any good. If any of the other pitchers was doing a pitch worth of crap, they'd be solid first place.
It ain't over yet. We still got a second half, and sometimes their pitchers, you know, if you look at history, their pitchers peak at the right time, and that's usually around September and October.
Because right now, McCollus and Wainwright are pitching real well, but the rest of the starters haven't pitched well at all.
Is still out, right?
Yeah, I think he's still out.
Yeah. Yep.
So if I remember right, he came back, pitched 1 game, and then they put him back. They put him back down.
Oh, okay. So he's still not 100%. He's still alien. Okay.
Well, let's talk a little NBA. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of the Cardinals, we play them next week. The Dodgers do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Dodgers win today?
They're playing right now.
Oh, no, yeah, they're playing right now.
Yep. What's the score, by the way?
Against the Rockies?
Yes.
Looks like somebody just Colorado's up 1-0 in the top of the 6th.
Well, hopefully we win. We won yesterday's game. We won this is the final game of this series. This is a series finale. We won the first 2.
Yes, Reds went 1-2 in the series against the Mets.
Okay. We've been on a roll. We've been on a roll. We took 3 of 4 against the Padres, and now we have a chance to sweep the series tonight against Colorado.
Did you see those? Did you see them 4th of July hats that all the baseball teams were wearing? Man,
yep. Did you like them?
I thought those were nice.
You can still order them. You can get them at Fanatics.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably order me a Cincinnati.
I know you're gonna get one because you're a Caps guy. You're a Cap guy.
Oh yeah. But I saw those, like, man, I like those. I didn't get to watch. I really didn't watch much of the game on the 4th because I was.
Oh yeah.
I remember I was. Well, I done one show in the morning. No, Monday was the 4th. I didn't do much on Monday. We was going to do a cookout, but we ended up doing it yesterday because the kids had to work on Monday.
Oh man.
So we done our little 4th of July cookout yesterday.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, yesterday was just a lazy day for me, man. I kind of laid around. I wrote an article, as you might have saw, posted it. Kyrie Irving article I did. That was about it, though. I just laid around and just watched baseball. And then on the 4th of July, I did the same thing. I watched baseball and ate and got fatter, you know.
Yeah, we went to a big cookout on
that's what I did.
And we went to a big cookout on Saturday, and I had brisket, pork butt, big pork burgers that they made, that
nice.
They ground themselves and made. And man, I ate so much food that day. Then Sunday we camped out there. Then we came home Sunday, and as soon as I hit my bed, I was out.
Yeah, I pigged out. I pigged out on Monday.
Well, before we move on to NBA, do you think the 49ers, or no, the rumors are the 49ers might release Jimmy G if no trade? I don't think they're going to. I think Jimmy G's going to start for the 49ers. I don't think they're sold on Trey Lance.
Jimmy G sounds like a rapper name, by the way. You know, but his name is sometimes a struggle to pronounce. So we just say Jimmy G. Do I think they're going to release him? Interesting. John Lynch, man, he has done a good job in the front office, by the way. I have to give him applause for the way he has, you know, run that organization. Great job by him. Great work. I think Jimmy G stays around. I don't know how confident or how ready they are to throw, you know, Lance out there. You know, I think it's still a learning experience for him.
Yep.
I think he's waiting in the wings, and I think he's still kind of learning, adapting to the pro game, So I don't see them. I don't see them letting Jimmy G just walk, or
No,
I don't see them releasing him. He's not that great of a quarterback. You're getting Deebo Samuel back.
I think
I think they worked out their differences, didn't they?
I think so. I think if you're the 49ers, you keep Jimmy G, play him this year, because the only thing that can happen is his value go up.
Right.
So why not? If you're not confident in Lance, you play Jimmy G another year. You don't want to lose him by releasing him and not get anything for him. If you're not confident in Lance, let Jimmy G start this year. If he leads you on another good playoff run and his shoulder's okay, don't have to have another surgery, then there's going to be a lot more teams that'll trade for him. Yeah. That's why teams haven't been interested in him right now, is because he's coming off shoulder surgery.
Right. Well, he's a game manager at best. He'll win you games, but he has to have a strong running game behind him to do that. You saw what Deebo was everything for that 49ers team last season. They could say whatever they want to say. He was everything.
Oh,
he was
no.
the quarterback. Yeah. He was the running back. He was the wide receiver. He was the guy on special teams. He was everything for that team. He was the heart and soul of that 49ers team.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying is if Garoppolo has another decent or another season like he did last year, and he's not injured, there'll be more teams interested in him, because there's teams always looking for a quarterback. Yeah, but I mean, hey, there's always a team looking for one,
right?
I mean, hell, Carolina might want him if Baker don't pan out. And I hate saying that, because I like Matt Rule. I think he's a good coach. I want to see him succeed in the NFL, but he just hasn't had any luck at all.
No, he hasn't.
McCaffrey keeps getting hurt.
Right.
And there's times that teams look good, and then there's other times it's like, man, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on? Like, you can't really identify the team.
And what scares me about Matt Rule is the team was better in his first year than what is. It's been getting worse than getting better.
Right. It's going backwards for him.
Yeah, you think your second or third year should be getting better. It's like, no, you're going backwards, man. You better put that car back and drive.
Right. He's driving in reverse.
And then another thing, let's talk some NBA before we get out of here, because I was sitting here earlier thinking, and I think there's a good chance that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to be on the Brooklyn Nets roster at the start of the season, because the Nets have all the leverage. Irving opted in. Durant signed to a 4-year deal. So they can sit out, but okay, sit out. You don't want to play. What are you going to do, Durant? Not play for 4 years of your career?
Then that's going to hurt your pockets even more if you don't play. Especially Kyrie Irving. He's already lost a lot of money.
Yeah, there's only one, according to everything I hear, there's only one team interested in Kyrie, and that's the Lakers.
Right. And then I also heard that Jeannie Buss has called off all deals.
And then with Durant, the Nets know they have all the leverage, and they're asking for the whole farm. Yeah. And I just don't know if there's going to be that many teams. There's not that many teams that have a package to give what the Nets want. So that narrows the teams down too. And if I'm the Nets, I'm not worried about what teams Durant want. They go, well, Durant wants to go to this team. Hey, you signed a contract with us. You don't want to honor it. You're going to go wherever I trade. You're going to go wherever I trade you.
He says he wants to team up with 2 superstars.
Yes,
bro.
How much? Hey, I want to get your opinion. How much is it? How much does this hurt his legacy?
His legacy takes a hit. It takes a hit. But you know what?
Every time it gets tough, he wants to leave.
Every time it gets tough, every time it gets tough, he wants to leave. But you know what, Chris? We always measure a player's greatness by, what he accomplishes as a player, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes, depending, we measure them on the number of championships that they have, right? Well, Chris, understand something, that winning cures everything. So if KD continues to win throughout, if KD continues to win throughout his career, all of this stuff about him moving from team to team, joining joining superstar players to form super teams, all of this nonsense about that would just go out the window.
Yeah, it
And
won't get talked about near as much.
And it won't get talked about as much, and we won't overshadow his legacy. He will still have a legacy no matter what.
Oh yeah.
People sometimes measure greatness on the number of championships. Not only do they measure greatness on the number of championships, but their individual accolades as well. This is a guy who's won the Finals MVP when he was playing for the Warriors. This is a guy who helped the Warriors win 2 championships when he was there.
Yeah, but now if he leaves here and he goes and he doesn't win,
right?
Oh man, everybody's going to be on him. I mean, he's still going to be known as a great player for what he done in the court, but everybody's going to be on. You left there because you wasn't happy, and you went here and you wasn't able to win.
That's why he opens himself to public ridicule because he can't sit still, and that's probably why no team wants to give up. There's
no mistaken. He's one of the best players. He's one of the top 3-4 players in the world when he's
no doubt about it. No one questioning his competitiveness.
He's top 3-4 in the world.
No, he's definitely one of the best. He's widely considered.
It's up here,
right? It's mental. He's obviously considered one of the best players in the world, right? We hear that all the time, right? He gets the best player in the world label all the time. It's just his attitude and the way he goes about things. This guy always wants to leave when something goes wrong, and 1 minute you're content, then the next minute you're discontent. All of a sudden you're crying, whining, saying that you want to be traded. Dude, you have to find a home, stay there, be patient, stick it out. I don't see why he wants to be traded from Brooklyn. Just work it out with Kyrie Irving. Make something happen there. You guys formed this super team. Look, Kyrie Irving joined forces with KD to build something special in Brooklyn.
Well, because Kyrie wanted to go to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn didn't want just Kyrie.
Right.
You get KD to come with you, then we'll talk.
Right. So you formed this super team.
Said you don't need no coach.
Right. Said you don't need no coach, and then after 1 year, now you want to break up. You want to split up and break this up. Ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm the Nets, I'm not worried about trading you where you want to go. I'm going to trade you what's best for us.
And that's why he gets criticized. And I don't think no team. Here's another thing, Chris. I don't think any team out there is willing to give up all their young assets because Sean Marks is going to ask for a lot in return.
Oh yeah, and especially after what they got for Utah got for Gobert.
Yeah. So if Utah got all that for Gobert, you can only imagine what the Nets are going to get for Kevin Durant.
Utah got 3 players and 4 first-round picks for Gobert.
And that's what Sean Marks is going to want. The general manager of the Nets. He's going to want the same thing, if not more. And do you think a franchise is foolish enough to give up their young assets for a guy who can a year later say, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me.
See, that's why I think there's a good chance that he's still on the Nets this season because this Gobert trade hurt Durant. It hurt his chances of getting traded because now the price for him for the Nets just has gotten even higher.
Yeah.
And the Nets aren't going to budge. And hey, I don't blame them. Hey, if you're going to you're giving up that kind of talent, get as much compensation as you can get. And if you can't get it, hey, you're under contract. You either play or you don't play. Then it's on you.
Right. And I think if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant stay together.
And they've made some moves that make me think that them guys might still be there. They brought in TJ Warren from Indiana who in the bubble looked like a superstar, then has been hurt the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, but the dude can score. He's a scorer.
He's a scorer. And if he stays healthy, he could definitely complement both of those guys' games.
And he's a decent defender as well.
Right. And I feel Ben Simmons, if he gets his act together, if he finally plays a damn game, he could complement their game too, because, you know, he has that ability to spread the floor.
Yep.
Why? Because he's an incredible playmaker. See, that's what people forget about Ben Simmons.
I keep saying Golden State. Golden State needs to go get Ben Simmons.
But see, that's what I totally agree with you, because last summer I did a video talking about that I felt he was the perfect fit.
He's a younger and better Draymond.
Right. He complements Steph Curry's game, and he's a great defensive player. He might not have the complete package, because why does every NBA star has to be
he don't have to shoot three?
Yeah.
We don't need you to shoot the three. We need you to get rebound, facilitate.
Well, first, number one, they need him to play a game first.
Yeah, that's true. But if you get him bought in
first, right?
If you get him bought in at Golden State, he could be a guy that could replace Draymond Green as Draymond's getting older.
Right. And, you know, the knock on Ben Simmons is that he's a terrible shooter, that he can't shoot, you know. But, hey, you know, he brings other things to the game. Like he's a versatile defender. You know, he's a great passer.
He can get to the rim.
I know this sounds crazy. Then people might say I'm silly for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. He's a jump shot away from being a LeBron James.
Yeah, because he's a great finisher around the rim, can get to the rim, can play defense. He just he don't have a shot.
Exactly.
But if you're on a team like the Warriors, we don't need you to shoot the three.
No, they
got shooters.
So that's why they have a prolific backcourt made up of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And then you got Jordan Poole that could knock down threes. And then you got Andrew Wiggins, who had a breakout postseason. The guy was an absolute stud.
A lot of people say that are thinking that KD is going to end up back in at Golden State. I don't see Golden State giving up all that.
That's a Godfather deal. That's more than a Godfather deal. That's a grand Godfather deal.
And I've heard rumors that some of the Warriors players were upset that they didn't keep Gary Payton II.
I mean, well, he was a big part of that team. You know,
I heard it didn't sit well with some of the players in the locker room. I heard a couple reports about that.
Well, you know, you lost a great defender.
Yep.
And you lost a guy who was, you know, becoming a solid role player on that team. You know, you saw the maturity, you saw the flashes of maturity, you saw the athleticism, you saw what he could do on both ends of the floor. You saw how aggressive he was. You know, you saw the intensity that he brought each night. You know, and to lose that, that's a big loss. You know, and they're not going to realize it until probably sometime next season. They're not going to realize it probably to the playoffs.
No, because he was big. He was big in that final series, especially on the defensive end.
Exactly.
Because when he got hurt, I was like, "Oh, Warriors could be in trouble," because that really hurts them on the defensive end. But they were able to keep moving on. But they really, if they wouldn't have had him in the finals, I think they would have really missed him.
But the Warriors, man, they have nothing to worry about. They're still in good shape. They can, you know, they could still run it back with the pieces they have. They can repeat as champions. They have the team, you know, as long as they don't do that dumb trade for KD, they'll be just fine.
I don't think they would.
If they did, that would be the dumbest trade in Bay Area sports history. That would rank high up there, like the Rockies trading away Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how dumb that would be if they actually pursued KD and gave up all, basically their championship roster.
I just saw this. The Panthers gave more to trade up to get Matt Corral than what they just gave to trade for Baker Mayfield.
Oh, wow.
That's how fast Baker's fell from number 1 pick in the draft to we trade you for a 5th round pick. It's just, or maybe a 4th round, depending on how much he plays. If he plays like over 70% of the snaps, it's a 4th round pick.
Well, he got a chance this season to silence all his critics and prove all his doubters wrong.
Yeah, and you're with a guy that's supposed to be a pretty good offensive coach, so
we'll see what happens. It's
gonna
gonna be a great
interesting.
NFL season. I'm so excited.
He better hope Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. He needs him to stay healthy.
Oh, he needs a solid run game.
And the Browns and Panthers play first game of the season, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, he definitely needs a solid run game behind him.
And McCaffrey also not just in the running game, he can be that outlet when you're under pressure that you can run screens and stuff with, and he can take it to the house at any moment.
Right. And then you could, do some trickeration and stuff. Yeah.
They say they're not going to trade Sam Darnold, so I guess Darnold will be Baker's backup probably.
Competing for the starting job. That's going to be interesting too.
NFL's getting closer. I can't wait. I love football season.
I love football season too. I love all seasons.
I love baseball, but baseball season I watch like every Reds game, but when I really get hyped up about baseball is after the All-Star break.
Okay.
Because that's when you start seeing what the playoffs are going to kind of look like, and then playoff baseball. Now that's one I don't think there's anything hardly better to watch than playoff baseball. Playoff baseball is fun to watch.
Oh, October. When October comes, yeah. And like I shared with you before, that's a tradition in our house. Because my dad, man, he was infatuated with baseball. Like it was huge in our house. We were so enamored with the game of baseball, especially in the 90s. Just had a different feel to it. You had a remarkable collection of talent out there on the field, and that was just a cool time to grow up and watch baseball. And then I think what helped baseball too, it was marketed a lot better, back then, and also, you was getting all these baseball movies like Angels in the Outfield, The Sandlot, The Rookie,
Sandlot,
I think that kind of
one of the best movies ever made.
And I think those movies inspired people to watch baseball, so
Field of Dreams, all those.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Field of Dreams was a good one too. And speaking of Field of Dreams, by the way, the Field of Dreams game is coming up soon. And, that would have been exciting to actually be there to experience that in person. I hope they do that next year, because if they do, that'll give me time to save up and travel to Iowa to experience that.
I would love to go watch the Reds and Cubs this year.
Yeah, to be a part of the atmosphere, that would be great. And just to see the scenery, take some pictures. I would take Maddie out there. And my fiance, and we would go out there and just stay for a few nights in Iowa.
Oh yeah,
that'll be another state that I can mark off my checklist. Because I've been to a number of states, but Iowa's one I've never been to, and that right there I can mark it off my list and say I actually been.
Yeah, I want to go to every Major League Baseball stadium. That's what to do.
That's a great bucket list, by the way, man. I would love to experience every baseball stadium too. I hear some good things about PNC Park. I hear good things about Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Dodger Stadium, I've seen it too many times. I live here, so Dodger Stadium, man, it's one of the oldest stadiums in baseball. They remodeled it, right? Like it's a renovation on it. They finally have a front entrance to the stadium. They have a main gate now. They have a statue of Sandy Koufax. They've had the Jackie Robinson statue, but they moved it all on the same level where you could take a picture next to it. It's just a different feel now at the ballpark. It's more modernized now. They did a lot of work to it, but it's still an old stadium. It's not like some of these new stadiums now that's that's coming along. It's not like Lone Depot Park, a park that's so beautiful, that's an absolute palace, but can't sell out a damn crowd.
Yep.
You know,
Well, I've been to my favorite one I've been to is Camden Yards in Baltimore.
I hear that's a beautiful one too.
It's pretty. It's a beautiful, pretty cool diamond. I love the Cincinnati Reds, great American ballpark.
I hear a lot about that one too.
And I've been to the Chicago White Sox. I've been to their new stadium there in Chicago. It was okay. It's probably my least favorite that I've been to.
Kaminsky Park. That's what it was known as back in the day. When I was growing up, they called it Kaminsky Park.
But then we went to Detroit, and I'll tell you what, that's a real nice ballpark.
Comerica in Detroit.
Yep. My son was wrestling in a World Championship Wrestling tournament at Ford Field.
Okay.
When he was like 5 years old, and when you registered, you got this bag that had like a shirt and stuff in it. One side of the bag, there was a voucher where you could buy tickets for the Cleveland Indians against the Detroit Tigers.
Oh, got you.
For $6. So when we all got done, when all the kids got done wrestling, there was a game that night. So we all went over there and went and watched the game. $6 a piece. It was like, hell yeah, we'll go watch the Tigers game. It's a cool place. Has a Ferris wheel there in the concourse that kids can get on and stuff. I mean,
what?
It's pretty cool.
Dodger Stadium got an AM PM. Too much good stuff. Yeah, but I would like to travel more and see some baseball games in different cities and stuff.
Like I want to get to Boston, see Fenway.
Oh, Fenway, that would be a great place to see.
I still need to go Wrigley. I got to get to Wrigley too, because it's Wrigley. Even though I'm not a Cubs fan at all. But
Dr. Mike, man, Mike lives out there.
Yeah, my sister lives out there too.
Okay,
I'm going to get with Mike because my girl's a big Cubs fan. I'm a Reds fan. And I took her to see the Cubs and Reds hit Cincinnati. So next time we're going to go watch Cubs and Reds in Chicago.
We play them tomorrow. They're coming here to LA for 4.
The Cubs?
Yeah, it's a 4-game series starting tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I think they got beat. I think the Cubs lost today. If I remember right, when I saw highlights earlier.
The Angels won today because Shohei Ohtani was dominant on the mound, man. This guy.
And at the plate.
He has mastered the art of pitching and the art of hitting. It's incredible to watch. It's incredible to watch his growth because he's a remarkable two-way player. I mean,
Aaron Judge had a grand slam again today.
He's extraordinary. He's an otherworldly talent. It's just amazing, but it's really, really sad that the Angels keep losing games and they have arguably 2 of the best players in baseball. How does that happen? And then you got Iglesias out here throwing sunflower seeds on the field.
That was funny.
Hey, you know what? That was a priceless moment, though. I had to keep going back and watch that video.
I wish Iglesias was still a Red.
Oh man, he's the closer for the Angels now.
Yep, he was our closer last year. Last season.
Yeah. The nights that he get the opportunity to actually close, you know.
Yeah.
Because the Angels lost yesterday, but they won today. They were able to, and thankfully, that's because of who was pitching, Shohei Ohtani.
And then he hit a 2-run homer today. I know.
Yeah, he helped his own cause. Yeah, yep. And he does that quite often too. Yep. I mean, this guy deserves the comparisons of Babe Ruth.
And then you have Aaron Judge, who's just on fire. He had a grand slam today.
Man. Aaron Judge, man, he didn't stole first base. He stole second base. He stole third base. He ran all the way home, and he's running away with the AL MVP. I mean, he got it in the bag.
I think the only person that has a chance maybe be Ohtani. If Ohtani can really dominate the rest of the season like he's capable of.
Yeah,
and
it's an individual.
And Judge would have to cool off. Judge would have to cool off for a period.
Oh, he would have to cool off, yeah. But you know what? It's an individual award. But even though it is, it usually goes to the player with the winning record.
Yep. And I don't have a problem with that. Some people
Right.
do, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if they're the best team, they probably have a guy on there that has that was the most valuable player that you can't argue, because without having that, they're not going to win that many games.
Mm-hmm.
And Judge, he's finally shown what he can do when he's healthy. But is he going to stay healthy for the whole season? That's what worries me.
And you still got the month of August. You still got all of this month, and you still got the month of August and September. You got the dog days of the baseball season right around.
A couple of weeks before All-Star break, isn't it?
Yep.
It's in LA this year, isn't it?
Yep. I won't be there though. I'll be watching from home.
That's how I'll be watching it. I was going to go when it was in Cincinnati a few years ago.
I remember when it was at Great America.
And I was going to go, but I got on there to try to get tickets, and all they had left was standing room only tickets.
Oh.
And it was like $200 or something. I'm like, I'm not paying $200 to stand.
Stand up.
And then and one of them said no field view.
I mean, you're there though,
yeah, but one of them you couldn't even see the field. I'm like, no, I'm not paying $200 to go to a game. I can't see the field. I'm watching it on TV. I can stay at home and watch it on TV.
Right. What's the point of being there if you can't see the field? They're just trying to sell you a ticket just so you
can say you was at the All-Star game.
Hey, look at me, I'm here. but look at the view.
Yeah. Like, there ain't no way I'm paying $200.
I'm taking a selfie pretending like I'm sitting down the front row and I'm really sitting up high and I can't see the field.
I couldn't believe I said there's no way I'm going to a game if I can't see the field. Now, come on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'll sit at home and watch
it either if I can't see the field.
And honestly, I like watching the home run derby more than I like the actual All-Star game anyway.
Oh, that's exciting. And that's going to be in LA. And if it's hot like it is now, that ball's going to be carrying.
Oh, yeah, ball fly.
Yeah, it's going to fly here in Southern California.
It was like 99 degrees here yesterday.
Oh, yeah. It's been pretty warm here, too.
The humidity was terrible, though. Humidity about kill you.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Because you guys get rain, too.
Yep.
So then, that increases the humidity, yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen? Where do you think Durant's going to end up at?
You know, it's hard to tell right now, but if I had to pick a team, it won't be Miami. It won't be any of the teams on his wish list. It'll be a mystery team, but I don't know who it would be.
I'm going to say he's still with the Nets at the start of the season.
Yeah, I'll agree with you and say still with the Nets at the start of the season. Because like you said, the Nets have the leverage, and he's still under contract. And you know what? These players nowadays, they need to learn how to honor their contracts. If you're gonna sign a 4-year contract, you know, you gotta be obligated. And you have an obligation to fill. And you have responsibilities to fulfill. So I think that these players need to start honoring their contracts and stop wanting out when something doesn't work out or when something doesn't go your way, you know?
If I'm an owner of a team, when the new CBA comes up, I'd be wanting to get it in there where the max deals are like 2-year deals. I'll give you a 2-year deal, start giving you players 2-year deals because you guys only want to be here for 1 or 2 years and you're ready to go on if we're not doing as good as you want. So I'm not going to sign you to a 4 or 5 year deal anymore and then have to try to trade you and change my whole team because a year. Well, and that's the thing. His 4-year deal hasn't even started yet. It starts this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just signed you to a 4-year extension and you want to trade. I'll be like, now on, I'm giving players 1-2-year deals.
See, this is the problem with Kevin Durant. He runs when, you know, the team starts losing and when they can't win games and you know, look, it was a disaster last season for the Nets, right? But you could place a lot of the blame on Kyrie Irving, right? Because this is a guy who missed a lot of games. And I wrote about that the other day. This is a guy who missed, you know,
he hasn't played over 65 games the last 7 seasons.
And a majority of those games were home games because of the mandate in the state of New York. Because again, Kyrie Irving, he remained unvaccinated. Now I'm okay with you not wanting a vaccine. I'm perfectly okay with you with your wishes. Okay, I have no problem with that. It was his personal choice not to get the vaccine. It was also his personal choice to skip out and not play any games. But what that did, that ruined the Nets. See, that ruined their season because they couldn't develop any cohesiveness. They couldn't develop any cohesiveness, or they couldn't develop any chemistry because the team wasn't together for a full 82 game season. And I mean, that just hindered the development of team chemistry. And what it did, it destroyed the team's morale.
In 3 seasons, Irving and Durant had played 58 games together.
See, and then that's another thing too. Durant does not take on leadership.
No, that's the one knock on him. Great player, but
he doesn't take on leadership. Not a leader. I think that's why he feels the need to play alongside, more than one superstar.
Because if you look
because he doesn't want the responsibility of being a leader.
In Golden State, he didn't have to be the leader.
Right.
You had Steph, you had Draymond. You didn't have to be the leader. And now, like you said, now he wants to go somewhere that has 2 stars.
Right. So and
you better hope one of those stars is a leader, because if not, that team's taking a chance to look like Brooklyn looks like.
And that was the problem with Brooklyn. And then to come out and say you don't need a coach, bro, you need a coach.
You cut Steve Nash's legs right out from under him as soon as he got there with that comment. Because now if the younger players on the team see that the stars don't respect the coach, how are you going to expect the younger players on the team to? They're going to follow what their stars do.
Right. So this team couldn't gel together because there was, this team just
they couldn't gel because nobody had respect for the coach, and then you didn't have a true leader to keep it. You didn't have a true leader to hold everybody accountable.
Right. And that's the problem. Kevin Durant doesn't even hold himself accountable. So how would you think he would hold somebody else accountable?
That's true.
That's the same with Kyrie Irving too.
Yep. Yeah, Kyrie's not a leader.
They got accountability issues.
And that's why Kyrie's wanting to get back with LeBron.
That's why
he's not a leader.
Kyrie needs LeBron. He doesn't need Kevin Durant. LeBron is a totally different guy.
And that's what I'm saying. If Kevin Durant was a leader, it would have worked to Kyrie, because that's what Kyrie needs.
Right.
That's why he's wanting to get back with LeBron, because he knows I need that guy. And KD just isn't that. He's just not that guy. He's a great player, but he's not that leader like LeBron is, or like Jordan was, or
Kevin Durant just plays.
Yes.
He just plays. That's it. That's all he does. And now you're gonna let Steve Nash stand on the sideline for another year.
Yeah, I can't believe I thought for sure they'd get rid of Nash.
He's just there.
Yeah. And he got severely outcoached in the playoffs.
And that was Sean Marks' guy. He did. He got outcoached by Udoka. Udoka outcoached the hell out of him. Made him look silly.
Yeah.
Made him look like a guy that don't understand basketball. And we all know that's not the case with Steve Nash.
Because if you're a point guard at that level, you have to understand basketball. But
like
I said, a lot of it was his stars didn't get behind him, so the rest of the team wasn't going to.
Right. And they weren't listening to him. It's obvious.
No, well, if you watched the timeouts, you would see Durant or Irving or somebody talking to the other players. Nash is just kind of like standing there.
Yeah,
looked like one of the assistants just standing there listening. Like, dude, you're the head coach, man. Come on.
Yeah, he just got a job, man. He's just chilling on the sideline. That's all.
But man, I mean, sometimes it's hard for players that were great players to be coaches because if you're a great player, you have self motivation. You don't, but some of the mid level players, they need motivated to stay focused,
right?
And where the great players, when they try to coach, they just expect everybody to prepare like they did,
right?
And it's just because you prepared like that, they have the majority of people do it. That's why everybody isn't at your level.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes it hard for sometimes them guys to become coaches because they expect everybody to already know stuff and know this. And it's like, no, you got to show them because they didn't have it. Either they didn't have your ability, so it didn't come as easy to them.
Right.
And I think that hurts. That's what makes it hard for some of them players to be coaches because they expect the players to prepare like they did. And it's like, no, you got to get these guys' ass, motivate them sometimes.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, in reality, that's the coach's job, right?
Yep.
You know, that's what he's there for. But it didn't work out for Brooklyn. I think they should try it again and see what happens.
Man, these WNBA games are getting crazy. They're scored 116 to 107 points now.
I gotta really, really follow the women's NBA more. I gotta sit down and really watch some games.
It's gotten a lot better.
I wrote an article on Brittany Griner today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. Yeah.
WNBA has gotten a lot better. You're starting. I mean, like I said, you're starting to see them score 90 to 100 points a game, and you got a lot more skilled players in the league now.
Yeah,
you can see it's growing, so it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in other news, the Dodgers and the Rockies are now tied.
Tied?
Yep. You know the Dodgers have the best record in the National League? They're 51-29.
Yep. The Mets are tough in the National League, but other than that, the Padres could be scary if they could put it all together. But
they can't. They never could.
They don't put it all together.
They can't.
I think the Giants are. I think they still need another starter.
The Giants.
And that's what's hurting the Cardinals. The Cardinals, if they're going to try to make any kind of push, they need to get at least they need to try to trade for a starter before the trade deadline.
I believe the Giants are 10 games back now. I think.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say they're falling back.
Yeah, they're falling behind.
And the Cardinals, what scares me is I think they might end up getting Castillo from the Reds.
Who?
Castillo. I think
Which team?
What'd you say?
Which team might get Castillo from the Reds?
Cardinals.
Oh yeah, they need help with pitching
because they need a starting pitcher. Castillo's been mentioned. Tyler Mahle from the Reds has been mentioned. Another starter from another team that's had a pretty good year.
Why would the Reds help out the Cardinals though?
That's what I was saying. Don't be giving them in the division, but that Reds GM probably will. They need to get rid of that GM, the coach, start over. Hell, get rid of the owner too.
And David Bell. Oh man, David Bell, man, to me is not a great man. I keep saying this. He's like Don Mattingly, and he's like, well, Dave Roberts has had success.
He's a position coach.
I mean, I shouldn't compare him to Dave Roberts.
He's a position coach.
Right, he can't manage past the fifth inning.
No,
he can't manage his bullpen. He doesn't know how to utilize his pitchers.
Oh, dude.
That's the problem.
Kills me every day.
He's doing what a computer tells him to do.
And he was our pitching coach. Before they hired him as head coach, he was our pitching coach. I forget who it was. We fired him and we promoted Bell from pitching coach to head coach.
Why would you do that? You already know this man's history.
And that's the thing, is like, dude, our pitching staff, look at our pitching staff when he was a pitching coach, and now he can't manage the pitching staff when he's a head coach. I was like, dude.
Man, I know Cincinnati fans gotta be frustrated.
Oh, yeah, there's people write petitions and stuff all the time to fire David Bell.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
like
know it's
Cincinnati
rough.
Red fan
It's
groups and
rough.
stuff, dude. It's hilarious how, because I'm a diehard Reds fan, but man, some of the stuff people say in the chat groups are like, whoa.
Yeah, I know it's rough because I was watching one show one day because I was gonna do a video on
Dude, I have a tattoo. I have a tattoo of Pete Rose on my leg.
Oh, do you?
And then on the other side I uh have a red leg, the actual Reds logo.
You mean the guy who should be reinstated and
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
That guy? Yeah, I know.
My favorite player
But
of
it's
all
okay.
time.
You could put a bunch of steroid users in the Hall of Fame, but you can't put a guy that bet on his own team in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's my favorite player of all time. I got
Yeah. You see how ass backwards that is, though?
Yep. And, you know what? He'll get in the Hall of Fame, but they won't put him in the Hall of Fame until he dies.
That's sad. That's unfortunate.
Just because they don't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing, and it's bullshit. But I guarantee you, they'll when he dies, they'll take that ban off of him and they'll let him in.
That ain't right, man. They should let him enjoy that moment and celebrate with his family.
Well, and even the Reds do him wrong. The Reds only use them when they can make money.
That's not right either.
Off of it.
Man, after all he's done for that organization, being part of the Big Red Machine, putting his body on the line. This is a guy that used to slide into bases head first. You know?
That's why, yeah, he's my favorite player, Charlie Hustle.
Man.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Reds fan, but man, some of these people take it too far.
Disrespected him like that.
Well, a few years ago, Major League Baseball finally let it where he could, like, the Reds could have him there and market his name or whatever. And they started doing some, but it's like, why didn't you try to do this before? You had to wait till you got permission. Why weren't you trying to get permission? You should have been fighting for it.
Right.
And like if you go to a Reds game, there's always people outside with shirts saying "Free Pete" or Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. There's all kinds of people out there selling shirts.
I believe it. That was a Big Red Machine, man. When you look at that lineup was bad. Nobody could beat that lineup.
My dad was at the World Series in '76. My dad and my grandpa.
Yeah, that was a good lineup, man. You had Johnny Bench, you had Joe Morgan, you had who else you had? You had Pete Rose, you know,
Concepcion.
Yep. And if you go back to the early '90s, I know you remember the three-headed monsters in the back of the bullpen.
Yep,
they were monsters too.
And we had good position players with Larkin and Chris Sabo.
Larkin, man, he was bad.
He was one of my favorite players growing up too. Larkin.
Oh yeah, he was bad.
He's an announcer on TV for the Reds games.
Oh, okay. Barry Larkin, he's also in the Hall of Fame too.
Yep, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Speech, I remember. I watched the whole thing. It was very cool. Yeah, it was a very, very moving speech by him.
Yeah, we had Eric Davis, and like you said, Rob Dibble and Browning and them guys. Man,
I'm friends with Eric Davis, man. Because Eric Davis played with the Dodgers for a little bit too.
Yep.
Yeah, he played Dodgers for a little bit.
That was my brother's favorite player.
Eric Davis?
Yep, back in the day, I was my brother's favorite player.
Okay. Eric Davis, man, he had some pop in that bat. He was good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Reds used to have a lot of good teams, and now for the last 15 years or so, we've been terrible.
I remember when Lou Piniella got mad and stole the base and threw it. I remember that. That was the early 90s.
Yep.
I remember when he managed that club, and Cincinnati was pretty good. Like you said, I believe it was 1990 that they got to the World Series. Yep.
Last time we won it.
Yeah. That was against the Twins, right?
Athletics.
Oh, that's right. The following year, the Twins went to the World Series and beat the Braves.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember all those games, man. I watched all those games with my dad from a very young age. I was very young, but I remember those games. And I remember all those players too.
That's how I was. Me and Dad, I watched all the games with my dad.
Yep.
My grandpa was more of a Giants fan than a Reds fan, but he'd watch any baseball game.
So I know he remembered the '89 earthquake that delayed the game.
Yep, I remember that.
Didn't the game get postponed? Or
Yeah, I think it got postponed.
yeah,
Was that earthquake? But I'd been
yes.
I was 9 years old. So.
I was in '89. I was 4. I was 4 years old when that earthquake happened.
So I was 9.
I remember some of it. Well, I remember most of it, but I don't remember if the game got postponed or if they delayed it or what happened.
I'm pretty sure it got postponed and they moved.
Sure, because that was a massive earthquake. I mean, that was huge. It really destroyed San Francisco. Stuff was on fire. Stuff was engulfed in flames.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, the streets were buckled and cracked open. That was that was some mass destruction right there.
And before we get out of here, did you see where Rafael Nadal might have to withdraw from the semifinals at Wimbledon?
I didn't see that. Why?
He won today, but during the game he hurt his abdomen, and
oh man,
you could tell he was in pain, and his dad was like making motion, telling him to like just forfeit. And but he finished it, battled through, and he advanced. But they're saying that he's going to get some X-rays and stuff done tomorrow, and his status for the semifinals on Fridays is questionable.
Oh, that's a true competitor, though.
That'd suck if he don't get a play, because I'd like to see him and Djokovic in the finals.
He didn't take advice from his dad. Wow, and he kept playing. That's Mamba mentality. That's something Kobe would have done. Kobe played with a torn ligament in his finger.
Yep. Now he plays Kyrgios in the semifinals on Friday if he's healthy enough.
Oh, okay. Hopefully he gives it a go and he sees what he can do.
I hope. Women's semifinals for Wimbledon are at 8:00 tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's right. It is Wimbledon right now too.
Yep.
I always forget it's around this time.
And then I'm gonna watch some of that golf, that pro-am, because like Steph Curry and them guys play in it. And
different celebrities and stuff participating.
Pat McAfee's playing in it this year, so that's gonna be funny. That's gonna be funny as hell.
That guy is so funny. He has an awesome podcast.
Yeah, I was watching his show earlier, and he was talking about how they're leaving tomorrow to go to that golf tournament.
Yeah, he has a kick-ass podcast, man.
Actually, I started watching him, and then it wasn't too long after that I started this one. But yeah, he has his show is fun to watch.
Yeah, he's big time.
Has a good group of guys around him, and man, they're making some money.
I saw him at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him at WrestleMania. He wrestles too.
Yep.
Believe it or not, he does everything, man. He went from an NFL punter to a perennial wrestler to an awesome podcaster.
Punting for the Colts. Punting for the Colts was one of the best in the league.
Yep.
And did you see him Saturday night at the UFC fight? WWE had that pay-per-view, that Money in the Bank pay-per-view Saturday.
And he was there.
Yeah, and well, he was there, and I guess toward the end of the wrestling, that Baron Corbin attacked him. Well, then after the WWE show, because it was in Vegas, they showed a video or a picture, and he was at the UFC with Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H. And Pat McAfee had a neck brace on. so he was selling it. You know what I mean? He was still selling it. He was selling that he really got hurt. He was at the UFC drinking a beer and had a neck brace on.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, that guy is so animated. Like he just he doesn't hold back. Like he tells the truth. You know, he's brutally honest about everything. I think that's what I like about him, because he's so damn opinionated, and he doesn't give a damn. He just says what's on his mind. He doesn't care who he offends.
That's why his show's so great.
Because it's raw, and he gives it to you straight. You know, he tells you what's up. You know,
I watched it on YouTube.
Like that, like especially, I think it attracts the younger audience too, because a lot of people tune in. If you look at the demographics, it's like younger viewers and middle-aged people. You know, like
18 to 35 demo.
Yeah, like that kind of middle age, you know. So, I mean, his stuff is legit, man. And I check it out from time to time.
Yeah, I watch it. I'll turn it on YouTube and watch it when I'm not if I'm not on the show or something. And during the day, I'll turn it on and watch it. And then
Yeah,
sometimes at night when there ain't no game on, I might turn it on and watch some of it. But now I ain't gonna lie, there for a while I used to watch it about every day.
yeah, those guys are balling, man.
Oh yeah, big deal
They
with
got,
FanDuel and big.
yeah, they got a big deal with sponsorships.
Yeah,
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 they're on Sirius as well now too. So
they doing their thing. Hey, if they could do it, we can too.
yep, just gotta keep grinding.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah, sure thing. So, man, if you guys want to keep up with the Sports Judge, that's me. You guys can find me on Twitter, Sports Judge 85. You guys can find me on Instagram, Sports Judge 85. And you guys can check out my fan page on Facebook. That is the Sports Judge. Like and follow. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Chris, make sure you share the YouTube channel with your viewers.
Yep.
Out there and tell them where they can find me on YouTube.
Yep, I'll do that. Well, appreciate you joining us again. Like I said, you're welcome. Come on anytime. We'll be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern with Easy Money, a sports betting show. Please go like and subscribe our YouTube page at Gonzo Sports Room, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. So pretty easy to find. Everything's at Gonzo Sports Room. We have a big weekend coming up. Saturday, we're going to be at a car show here in Indiana that's going to have over 200 vendors there. So if you're around the Anderson, Indiana area, come check that out. And then on Sunday, we're going to be at Summit Pro Wrestling. And there's going to be an hour-long Ironman match. Going to be a battle royal to find out the first Summit Pro champion. We'll be streaming that live on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch pages Sunday at 4 o'clock. So if you're a pro wrestling fan, come check us out doing live commentary. It's usually a blast. I love going to them wrestling shows. Me and Dad do commentary, and we live stream the matches, and it's going to be a good time this Sunday.
Oh, that must be fun. That sounds like fun.
And I want to give another plug because I almost forgot. We're also going to have a special guest with us on Saturday doing live commentary with us. Sam Mitchell. He's like a pro wrestling super fan, and he also has his own podcast called Autism Rocks and Rolls. So go check out Sam. But he's going to be doing a commentary. He's going to be a guest commentator with us this Sunday at a pro wrestling show. So that should be a real good time, and excited to give him an opportunity to do something he's been wanting to do for a while. So it should be fun.
But that should be fun.
Oh man, I asked him. He was on our show that we interviewed him, and he's and then I mentioned about doing live commentary. Oh, and he got so excited. And next day I was on the phone with his mom, and we were talking. So he's going to come this Sunday and do live commentary with us. So I'm looking forward to it. It'd be pretty cool.
Man, I might tune in to watch that one.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Like I said, they're having an hour-long Ironman match. There's a battle royal to see who's going to be the first Summit Pro champion. And then there's a girl I'll be on there named Alice Crowley. She's actually going to be on the show next Monday. She should be in AEW or WWE right now. I mean, that's how good she is. She's going to come on the show on next Monday the 11th. That should be a real good interview. But all right, man. Well, are you going to be on the morning show tomorrow?
I don't think so. Not tomorrow. I think I'll be back on Friday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might be on. I don't know about tomorrow. Depends on if the grandson's here. If the grandson's here, the wife has a doctor's appointment, so I'll have to watch the grandson. But if not, I'm going to get on.
That's the thing with me. I'll be watching our daughter tomorrow while my fiance's at work. And I watched her today while my fiance went to work. I was able to get writing done. My daughter's so calm. She's super chill. So, she's not the baby. She requires attention like every baby, but she's not the baby that requires the attention where she,
That's how my grandson is, man. He's a good baby. He'll sit and chill, watch TV, play with something.
Yeah, that's her. That's Maddie.
Sometimes he sat on my lap before while I was doing the show.
And that was Maddie today. I came on the final hour of the morning show, and she sat on my lap the entire time.
That's cool. Yeah, I see a lot. I see you guys sitting there watching Disney movies a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Disney freak. Yep. I'm a Disney nut. I'm a big kid, man.
I watch them all. I watch them all with my son. My son's 22.
Okay.
But now and then we have a daughter that's 21 or 23, a daughter that's 20, and a son that's 18.
Okay. I love Disney, man.
One grandkid and one on the way.
Look, for me, Disney Plus was the best investment.
Oh, I bet. Disney Plus is cool.
Yeah. So, I used to go to Disneyland twice a year. I used to have an annual pass to go.
Did you get the package where you got the ESPN Plus too?
No.
No,
I got that through we got the Spectrum cable too. So yeah, I got all the sports channels through a sports package on Spectrum.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I'm a big Disney guy. I used to collect Disney stuff. You know, as you see, I wear Disney graphic tees. Today I got on the child, Baby Yoda.
Yep.
That's on my shirt today. But yeah, I go to downtown Disney quite a bit. I like to hang out there, and I just like the vibe.
I grew up on them movies. So.
Oh yeah, I think most kids did back then.
I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland or anything, but I grew up on all them Disney movies for sure.
Okay. Oh man, you got to get to Disneyland. You'll like it.
Yeah, I just want to go. I've never been to California. I'd be cool to just get there.
Oh yeah. It's nice out here. It's expensive, so bring your pennies.
That's what we did.
Save up your piggy bank.
So I didn't take many vacations because when I took my time off work, I would use it to take my son to national wrestling tournaments and stuff like that, and that would be kind of our vacation because we'd go to Tennessee or somewhere and we'd be there for a week or so, and when he wasn't wrestling, we'd go to an amusement park or go do something.
Right.
But by the time you spend all that money to travel to do all that, I was like, man, I don't have money, or I don't have the money or the time to take off work.
Right.
To go on vacation, because I used all my vacation time to take you everywhere.
Right.
Which was cool because I miss it now. I'm like, damn, I wish we was going to a wrestling tournament this weekend.
Mm-hmm. You miss it once it becomes like a routine, or once it becomes a constant habit, and it's no longer around. You really start to miss that stuff.
Oh man, when he first moved out of the house, I was all messed up. I'd walk back to his room to check on him, and I'm like, fuck, you don't live here no more. What are you doing?
Yep.
But I was so used to him always being here with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go. We'd be in the living room watching TV. I'm like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ask Austin something. And she would just kind of start laughing. And I think about like, fuck, he ain't here. I have to call him. But hey, when they're little, there's times you want them to grow up, but when they grow up, you're like, man, I wish he was 10 years old again. Yeah.
And that's why I'm not trying to rush Maddie. I'm just enjoying her as she is right now.
That's what you gotta do, because before you know it, they're 18 and getting ready to move out of the house, and and doing my son's getting married next summer.
See? Yep.
It's like, man, I remember it seemed like yesterday you were 4.
Right.
It was nice. We hadn't got to hang out for a while, and he came over yesterday and hung out. He was here for quite a while. Him and my dad came by, so it was pretty cool because it seemed like me and my son, our schedules weren't matching up.
Right.
When I wasn't busy, he had to work, and when he was off work, I was busy with my show or doing a wrestling show or traveling or something. So.
Oh yeah, adulthood, man.
Oh yeah, but man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm like I said, you're welcome anytime. And if I don't see you on the show tomorrow, I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Hey, no problem, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for Easy Money, a sports betting show. G.S.R. will be back Friday night at 11. Thanks for joining us, and everybody have a good night.